Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Carlos. Today, we're going to be presenting a topic which is how to transition from high intensity, maximum intensity PR style training to a higher frequency. Now, why would we want to do this? The reason is simple. When you're training for maximum intensity, you will hit a wall or a plateau. You cannot progress linearly forever. You can progress. You can find parameters to progress in within the highest intensity mode. Yet it's going to be very slow and very arduous as you tap out. And that's exactly what happened to me. As for the last 3, 4 months, actually, I've been actually making linear progress on the squats. I've been holding my own on most of the other lifts and making small progress. So now, apart from just wanting to change the routine, there is a necessity for the change and to bring in a higher frequency to for the sake of for more muscle building to build more hypertrophy. So the advantage of really high intensity is obviously you get stronger, you get more proficient with the heavy weights, and that does build muscle density for sure. It does build size as long as you are in a hypercaloric or a surplus in your diet. You will be gaining weight, but for me, I tapped out. So what am I going to do? I have to change the routine, bring in a higher frequency. So now what are we going to do? I have not been able to recuperate satisfactorily from those really high intensity sets or sessions. So legs, if I do legs on a Sunday or a Monday, I'm still recuperating Friday, Saturday, and praying to God that I'll be able to do the next session and do a PR. And so it takes everything that I have to recuperate from that. So what are we going to do? Increase it to twice a week. Oh my goodness! Now you couldn't recuperate from once a week. Now you're going to try to recuperate from twice a week. Yeah, okay. But the deal is we bring down the volume. We bring down the total volume within each session drastically. The main problem with this for us, for the type of lifting that I do and that a lot of guys out there like to do, which is just going max balls to the wall every session, is being disciplined and pulling back. The biggest problem with strong guys and guys that really know how to train is greed and overreach. Always want to do more and more and more. So here the trick is to discipline ourselves to stay within the structured program, doing the allotted amount of sets and only those sets that are in the program, and not one exercise more, not one rep more, nothing. You leave it for the next session. That's why you're splitting it up into 2 sessions. So uh, splitting the volume in half. Say we did a leg session with 18 sets. We did 4 or 5 different exercises, 3, 4 sets on each one, and going crazy failure on almost every, top set and all of that. We're going to chop that down in half or even less. We're going to bring it down to 6 sets for the session. That's it, just 6 sets. So for legs, it would be warm up with the bicycle always, for 12 minutes or 15 minutes, get your core body temperature up. You're sweating a little bit, you get the heat going, and then you go do body weight lunges for 1 set for high reps, 50, 60 steps, 3, 4, 5. You walk the gym, come back, nice stretch, get the stretch, really get the adductors and the glutes and everything firing. The hip flexion is so important, guys. People think of squats and all these things as leg exercises, and sure, you use your legs, absolutely, but it's hip exercise, man. You got to flex the hip joint, and that's where most of the power is here in the midsection and in the glutes and in the hips. So you want to get those really warmed up. So after 2 sets, go and do the squats. This first session would be Smith squat. And so we've been doing PRs, which is low rep feeder sets until you hit your max set, and then go as many reps, and that's it for the squats. We're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to pyramid up with the typical Weider, 12, 10, 8, taking it, using higher reps for the feeders. Okay, so we're going to start out with 1 plate, doing 10 reps, maybe 12, then go up to 2 plates, and then to the 3 plates. We're not going to go for maximum weight. Now, here's the thing. Since we've changed from high intensity to higher frequency, we're going to bring the intensity down. We're not going to go for maximum weights on practically any of the sessions for now. We're going to dial it in about 25 to 30%. So say my max was 425, I'm training at 315 now. And the idea is constant tension, time under tension, higher reps, and a strict observation of cadence, which means keeping the movement steady at a certain tension and maintaining the tension while trying to do as many reps as possible. I want to try 15 reps with the 3 plates, and then we'll bring it down for a back off set. And it's not going to go down too much. I think I'll bring it down to 275 or maybe 245. Make it easy for now. And try to do 20 reps. So we do a high set, which is below our max weight for high reps. And then we'll bring the weight down even more and do even higher reps. Okay, so that'll be like 2 working sets. I know that there's more sets there for the feeder sets and all that. But in reality, we're just counting working sets. If you're doing 2 plates for 8 to 10 reps, but you got like 20 in the tank, that's not a working set. Okay. After the Smith, finish off with the leg extensions. Again, you're already warmed up, no feeder sets, just go straight into the meat and potatoes. And for me, it's between 120 and 160 pounds. No, not ISO, but both legs at the same time. I'm trying to do between 15 and 20 reps. 2 of those sets, and we're done for legs. Moving on to chest, the same schemata, and then finishing off with biceps. So the idea is to build up again to the max weights within this higher frequency. And this is going to take about 10 to 12 weeks. Have to take it very slow. Will not be increasing sets or intensity for at least 3 or 4 weeks. We're just going to keep it nice and low for a while, so our bodies and our minds can take a nice break from that very high intensity training that we've been doing. And because the idea is always to get stronger, it's always to get bigger, but not to do it in a greedy way or in a way that's overreaching and not to fulfill, the goal, because you'll stymie yourself. You won't be able to do the thing that you want to do. You have to rest. So 4 times a week. Now, what are we going to be doing cardio with all of this? Yeah. I will be including 1 session a week of 30-minute, interval training. Sprints, lower intensity sprints, and maybe 4 or 5 sprints in half an hour. Also very moderate. So for right now, and the diet, still trying to gain weight. Now here's the thing. I took a 1-week break here in the Latin American countries. Our Easter break, or Semana Santa, the Holy Week, is probably the longest vacation time of the entire year. It's even more important than the end of the year festivities, Christmas and New Year's and all of that. We string together a whole week. So I was gone for a week. I was eating as far away from my diet as I could consciously. I was eating junk food, high sugar, pastries, fried foods, everything I could basically get as far away from my typical discipline as I could. Yeah, I softened up a little bit, and I weighed myself this morning, and I am exactly, to the gram, exactly the same weight as the day I left, after eating so much junk food and just pigging out. And, I didn't gain or lose any weight. It's just, I'm scratching my head. I'm going like, now what am I going to do for a diet? Because, if I'm I'm doing okay with all this junk, I don't like eating like that. It's fun for a while, and it served its purpose also. There's a saying, the Bible I think has a proverb. If you take a certain medicine constantly, it stops being a medicine after a while. It doesn't do you any good. The same thing with diets. If you live perpetually on a diet, sure, you'll stay lean, but what are you going to do? Where do you go from there? That's the idea. Where do you go from there? So it's more natural, in my view at least, to have the more cyclical thing, the yin yang, the dark, the light. You go from here to there, and there's some opposites. Yeah, there's something to be said for having a straight line and always, but at least for me, I prefer, since there is the capacity in the will to be so disciplined over long periods of time and adherence is not a problem for me, that I need to consciously take a break from it and make sure I'm as far away from that discipline as possible. So that's gone. That the week is gone. So it's back to discipline, and and so we're back to our old routines. Now there is a very big benefit to higher frequency. The more frequently you train, the more protein synthesis, or more often you can accrue, excuse me, you can accrue protein synthesis. The limiting factor is the intensity. If you want to get big, you want to get as strong as possible, you have to train with the highest intensity possible, but this is not sustainable. I know I'm beating a dead horse, but this is very important to get this concept out there. So you have to modulate. You can't always stay at the highest intensity, always training with the maximum. I mean, you could, but you're not going to progress as fast. So dial in the intensity, bring it down like 20, 30%, and train with higher reps. Still maintaining the low volume, because we're going to modulate the volume within this training block. The idea is frequency and volume. Once we start building up those sets within each session, this is the part where you have to be very careful not to overreach, because there might be days where I can do 20 sets and I'll come back Thursday and do them again. Yeah, but then the second and third week, you're going to blow the program. You're going to get fatigued and you're not going to be able to pull it off. And the sessions become very long also. If you're doing an hour and a half, with 6, 7 sets per exercise, when you build them up to 15 and 20, when are you going to leave the gym? It's like, it's never ending and it's not productive. So you have to be very limited with your sets when you're dialing in the frequency. Okay, now we're up to 2 days a week. We'll build those sets up from 6 to 8, maybe to 9, maybe maximum 10 sets per body part. Once that taps out, we may go to an even higher frequency, which is give leg day its own day, twice. And I still don't know how to structure that, but it'll probably move from 4 days to 5 days a week. And, that's going to get old also, and that's going to tap out, and then the volume will reach its limit, and then the itch to do the really heavy PRs will come back, and then we start over again. Once a week, super high intensity, and the PRs will be coming again. So that's the way we kind of keep the cycles going. High intensity, low frequency, medium volume, high intensity, higher volume, higher volume. Then we bring all the volume and intensity down, and we bring the frequency up. And so it's like 3 knobs that you're playing with to get your best results. And only you can know after, years of lifting. Now, this is basically, to more experienced lifters. If you're very new to this, there'll be another video for you guys. But for now, it's for you guys that have been at this a long time and want to continue progress. You have to play with the 3 knobs: the intensity, the frequency, and the volume. I know we would like to jack up the intensity, the frequency, and the volume. I train every day, max PRs, and I do 100 sets. And it's like, and I eat a ton of food and I'm getting big. Yeah, you'll be a vegetable. You'll die. You fucking overwork yourself and I don't know what could happen. You won't progress. That's the thing. People ask, how many times can I train? Or I train 6 days a week. There's a difference between exercise and training. You can exercise every freaking day of the year, every day of your life if you want to. Are you doing 400 or 500 pound deadlifts for 10 reps every day? Of course not. So the limiting factor to frequency, if you say to me, I train every day, I'm telling you, you're a fucking pussy. You don't know how to train. I have to see those training sessions. I mean, what is it that you're doing? You're doing what? Pumping cables, doing like lightweight dumbbells, the pink ones that weigh 7 pounds. Really, if you're training every single day, you're telling me your intensity is like way down here. You don't know how to apply intensity. You don't know what intensity is if you're training every day. Because there's no way that you're training after doing a leg session, with 400 or 500 pounds, deep full ROM squats, you're doing like bench press 6, 7 sets, maximum. You can come back and do that the next day. You're insane. You're doing like circuit training, giant sets, like the Milo Sarchev type training, which is just a bunch of junk volume, and you're never going to get really strong. You're going to, I know guys really love that type of training because it's easier, it's more comfortable than, smashing your body with truly, bone crushing poundages. Who wants to do that? Oh, guys who want to get really strong and big. That's who does that. So I had to get on a little rant there about strength. So when you're training absolutely max intensity, I bring it down to 3 times a week. What do you do with yourself on those days that you don't train? Go do cardio? Yeah, give that a try. I did that for a few weeks, trying to recuperate, and I couldn't recuperate. I'd just be drowsy and tired. I mean, I give it a lot. I give it all when I'm at the gym with those intensity sessions. So the challenge now is bringing back having the discipline to not do so much work in each and every session. So I'll leave you guys with that idea. You can look it up, how to modulate frequency, intensity, and volume. Until next week, God bless everybody. Have a wonderful day.